Elizabeth Diamond is a positive thought leader, a certified hypnotherapist, and an intentional scrapbooking expert. Elizabeth is best known for her revolutionary technique, the intentional scrapbooking method. And today Elizabeth is creating an altar linoleum tile with the theme of courage. So I'm delighted to welcome Elizabeth Diamond. Hi, Elizabeth.
Hello, everybody. It's so nice to be on the show today. And when I was thinking about the project for today, I always tune in with myself and I see where I'm at. And I was noticing that I had made a decision for a long time to go ahead and do something, but it was internal, but I wasn't taking physical action, and I really needed to summon the courage. So that was my intention for using the word courage in today's project. And then we just went through a remodel, so I wanted to play with the linoleum tiles that we put down in our kitchen. And so with that being said, let's take a look at how we can play with linoleum. If you can show the finished project, please. All right, so what we're going to do today is I cut out a piece of linoleum, and in fact, you'll see at the finished project, I put a rub-on the linoleum. But when I was done, in the back, I love this pattern. There's like a crisscross pattern of thread, and I thought, oh, the next time I want to play with that side. But today, I'm just going to show you some of the ways that you can play with the linoleum. And what I did on that previous one was I used some rub-on. And so you can use a bunch of different rub-ons. But today, I'm going to stamp with some StazOn in Timber Brown. And then I'm just going to use some felt letters here from Making Memories. And I just have a variety of different ribbons. Here I have a pleated brown ribbon. I have some brown tulle, and then I have some embroidery thread. The embroidery thread is going to be used to hang the crystals. Of course, everyone knows that I love to incorporate crystals into my work. And then we're going to wire wrap those crystals with some 22 gauge wire and hang them as a swag down at the bottom. So to begin with, rub-ons are easy. I just wanted to create some kind of image in the background on this to give it depth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my StazOn, I'm going to ink up my stamp, and because I'm working with the colors of yellow and brown, which if you can see here in this tiger's eye crystal, these are just pocket stone crystals. These are the dominant colors. So I'm working with the colors to reflect that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this stamp. Before I stamp it down, I'm going to off stamp it on a piece of paper. Just very briefly, just to get some of the ink off. And then I am going to press the StazOn. Now I found that StazOn is the only ink that works on the linoleum. I played with Tim Holtz. And you see, it's just a light kind of background. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stress the rest of this linoleum by just rubbing this around to give it that vintage, shabby look. And I'm just taking it right along the edges to frame it. It frames the word. And, of course, the whole time I'm just thinking about the courage that I need to really follow through with this decision that I made on the inner realm. So I know what I want to do. I've been thinking about it for a long time. It's just all about really summoning the courage to take the necessary physical action. So, of course, that's how easy it is to just anchor this intention into this piece of linoleum. And, of course, I played around with it. I experimented with the rub-ons, with different inks. And the rub-ons and the StazOn is the only thing that really sticks to this linoleum. Now, of course, you would go ahead and you would layer the words down with these, I use the felt alpha by Making Memories, and they kind of come stretched out, so as I pull them off, they get all kind of funky, so it's just a matter of positioning them back down. But what I'd really like to do is I'd like to move on to wrapping these pocket crystals, because when I was thinking about courage and really standing in my truth and staying true to who I really was and taking action from a decision that I made on the internal level, the crystal that I kept thinking about was tiger's eye. And I don't know if it's from just what I know about working with this crystal, or if I think about a tiger, and you know how a tiger is when they see something, when they see their prey, they just go for it. So I just thought, oh, I needed tiger's eye for it, and I didn't have anything but these large pocket crystals, so that presented a challenge to me, and I thought, oh, how am I going to attach this? And then I thought about wire wrapping, and I'm not an expert in wire wrapping, but I'm going to show you what I did. So I took about a 12-inch piece of wire, and I just cut it off with my wire cutter. And I'm sure there's jewelry makers out in the crowd that would probably have a better technique for wire wrapping. But all I did was I worked with the natural patterns of the crystals. Now, each of these crystals are different, and I decided where I wanted it to be in the back, and I just started wrapping around and create like a cage. And I felt that a 12-inch piece would be really great. And I just made sure that I went in multiple directions, and I actually weaved the wire in and out to really get it to press, and then I would just press in with my fingers to make it really firm so that it would hold. And then what I did was at the end, as I would wrap it around in the back, I just tucked it under the wire in the back. Now that's how I attached this. This was a challenge for me. I've never done this before. And so I just wire wrapped it. And then what I found with the linoleum, now they told us when they put this in on the floor that this was like the most durable stuff. But I found that I cut it with different scissors. I pierced it with a paper piercer, but it was actually breaking off. If you can see, here's a little piece that I experimented with. I pierced a hole, and it just it broke. So what I decided to do to hang the crystals from the bottom was to use my crocodile to punch it in, because this guaranteed me the solution where it wasn't going to crack down here. So what I did then was I took some embroidery thread, because I wanted it to have that sway effect. And what I did here was I just took it and I looped it, or I put it through one of the wires here, and I just tied it into the back. And you'll see that I cover up the hole. So it doesn't matter that I punched the hole. What I did to actually seal it was after I was done and I had this end part, you'll see here in the back, that I took some tacky glue, Aleene's tacky glue, and I just put it in the hole, and I pushed the knot from the back in here, and I let it dry. And when it was done, I flipped it over, and then I just adhered this ribbon to cover up all the holes along the bottom. And so really, it's that easy to anchor in an intention to summer courage to follow through with a physical action, and then to, of course, just hang it. I punched holes in the top, and I love using tulle. So I use tulle to hang it, and then what I do is I take my finished project and I hang it where I'm going to see it as much as possible through the day. So I hang it right on my desk, right in front. So every time I look at it, I feel the courage within to take this action. And I happily would like to say that within 3 days of anchoring my intention into the project, I took the action that I needed to take, that I was thinking about taking for about a year. So it was very successful. And so I'd love to hear about and see any intentions that you have about summoning the courage from within. And I hope you enjoyed this podcast.